Another episode and another reason to love your HBCU. I have Maxwell McGadney in the house from Howard University. Maxwell, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Maxwell, you're one of the amazing human beings who reached out to us about being a guest, and I always love it when that's the case. It also means that we don't have to do as much work to get guests. So I really,
Right,
really
right.
love
Yeah.
it. So you're one of the few that reach out to us. What made you say, hey, listen, I want to be on this podcast. I want to have a conversation with this weird lady on this podcast.
Honestly, so I don't remember how I initially found your channel. It was through your YouTube channel.
Nice.
But I just love the idea of using a platform to support HBCU students. Because I mean, I've seen such a wide diversity, not only at Howard, but just other HBCUs I've visited, people I've talked to, and people are just so talented and multifaceted. It's like it's rare that you get to see that in workplaces. So I think having a platform like this is really cool.
So, Maxwell, the beautiful thing is that this is being recorded. I'm going to get with ChatGPT or one of those AI models out there. What you just said needs to be our byline. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. Every time somebody asks me why did we start this, it does not come out right. I always say something different. All the things I say are accurate, but there
Mhm.
it always sounds different. The
Yeah.
way you just said it is beautiful.
Thank you.
HBCU students, HBCU alum, we all know this, as with Black culture, are not a monolith. And to have a
Yeah.
platform where we get to be introduced with the Maxwell McGadneys of the world, the Charles Blows of the world, and I could list a whole bunch of other names
Yeah.
came from HBCUs, they, to me, all of you are beautiful spotlights for students who are going through the HBCU process now to look up to. So again, Maxwell, I appreciate you. You are an aspiring physician.
Yeah.
Um, Ooh, Tosin, are you going to start heavy? No, don't start heavy. Uh,
Let's get
so,
to
okay,
it.
let's get to it. Okay, so my brother, my younger brother, he's
Okay.
in the UK and he is a colorectal surgeon, quite
Okay.
specifically. And he gives me stories consistently of what it's like to be a black man, and he's
Hmm.
born, raised in England. That's where he's been most of his life. And what it's like to be a black man in a country where you are still less than 20% of the population.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing now, you know where I'm going with this. So I'm bringing this up for intentionally. You are an aspiring physician in a country where, in totality, it's still less than 13% of African Americans that are in the United States of America. That's daunting. That is daunting. Why? Why physician?
Mm. Um, Honestly, so it started out as kind of a whimsical thing. Like I always liked sciences. I was always interested in how the world worked, and like it started off more like nature based and animals and like learning about mudslides and stuff in school. Like that was what interested me. And as I got older, probably around 15, 16, I'm into sports and stuff. And I actually had a experimental surgery done on my ankle at one point. To make a very long story short, it went well. It was successful.
Okay, okay, okay.
Like it was at a point where I almost wouldn't. I could have had my foot amputated if I messed up. My bone could have collapsed. It was a crazy, crazy story. Um, but that kind of set me on a path of like, wait, this dude just changed my life with his own two hands. I remember feeling so anxious and scared of what the future held for me because my health was in jeopardy. And obviously,
Mm,
now I'm
mm.
like such a health is wealth kind of guy. Like I drink my water on the daily. Um, so that's initially I was like, oh, orthopedic surgery, that'd be really cool. Um, I'm still figuring out if that's the path for me in terms of orthopedics specifically, but
Mhm.
um, I'm now just passionate about healthcare in general. Um, just spreading information about how to live a happier, healthier life. Because really, you have your family, you have your health. What more is there? friends and family.
I'd actually say health and family. And
Right.
listen, apologies to my family, like Tosin, you wouldn't put us first. No, I would put health before because I
Yeah.
kind of have to be at 100% myself in order to engage in
Yeah.
the right way with my family, I would think. So
Absolutely.
I put health before then. I brought up my brother for a reason. My brother talks a lot about the discrimination he faces.
Hmm.
I teased you not too long ago before we started. I said that I mean, I'm not going to put your age out there, but you look like you're 17, for crying out
Uh,
loud. Mind you, he's a graduate of Howard University. He didn't just start
the Howard
yesterday.
University. Yes.
The Howard
Yeah.
University.
Yeah.
Yes. So I wonder if you think that HBCUs in particular, but any schools, do a good job of prepping future physicians like yourself with the racism you're going to face. And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to make this about race. I I have a brother
No,
who's a
it's
physician, a
guaranteed.
surgeon.
It's
It's
genuinely
thank
guaranteed.
you. It's guaranteed.
I've already seen it. Like very recently, actually. I made a story on my Instagram. That's a whole other thing. But
Okay.
what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Do you think HBCUs and medical
Right.
schools,
Yeah. Yeah.
period, but
Yeah.
specifically HBCUs, prep future physicians
Yes.
well enough for, and I'm going to use your word because I kind of agree with you, for the guaranteed racism you're
Yeah.
going to face when you go into the medical practice
Yeah.
almost exclusively?
Hmm. I definitely think it prepares us properly. I feel like it's not obviously you're learning the sciences and things like that, but the type of confidence that going to a HBCU can instill, where you're just like you feel more comfortable doing what you came there to do. I would imagine at a PWI, like there's kind of maybe an imposter syndrome of you're the only colored person in a room most of the time, and you're taking all these classes, and it might feel isolating. But at a HBCU, you feel more just comfortable. It makes it a little bit easier to be confident in what you're doing. At least for me, I can only speak for myself.
Absolutely.
Um, but I would say it's made me more aware of my position, but not in a way of like self victimizing myself, but honestly more like it's bigger than me, and for a good reason. Like I'm working at a medical practice now as like a phlebotomist, and I mean sometimes I'll get weird looks or whatever because I am in rural Illinois, so it's odd sometimes. But also I'll have people come in, they're like, "Oh my god, what you're doing is amazing! Like we need more people like you." Da da da, and it's like not that that's what I do it for because it's not, but it shows that people, other people that aren't even people of color, see the need for it too. So it's like I don't know.
So I'm clearly a woman. I'm biologically a woman. I'm still a woman. Listen, we're in a world where that may not be the case. So people are going to hear me
Right.
like, really, Tosin, you had to say that? Yes, I did.
Had to make the
I am.
specificities and
I
things.
have to.
Right.
I have to. And listening to what you just said, many of us black women don't discuss, and you're a black man, and we're going to get to your particular area of health, especially healthcare for black men. I want to discuss that with you in a second. But listening to what you just said, I don't think it will ever be overstated how important it is to see a medical practitioner that can relate with you and that
Yeah.
looks like you, even if you're not my physician. Just
Seriously.
seeing one that okay, this person can relate to people like me, and here's hoping that they can, because we all also know that not all, what do they say, not all kinfolk are skin folk, is that what they say, or did
Mm.
I get it wrong? Not all
I,
persons who look like you will necessarily be on your side,
yes,
is I
absolutely.
think what they're trying to say. But I do think that regardless, there is a value in seeing the representation. You were going to say
Yes.
something.
Um, it was with your phrase you used. I I thought about Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the Boondocks.
I do know the Boondocks. I
Okay,
do. Go
Uncle
ahead.
Ruckus is like a anti black man. So
Enough
that was all.
said.
Yeah.
Enough said. Enough said. So before we get to the black males and healthcare, I'm going to treat you to our rapid fire
Oh, okay.
segment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's 67 seconds of as many questions. Can this be the first rapid fire that I get to ask as many questions as possible by you just giving like a short, sweet answer?
Yes, I got it.
We're gonna
My
do this. I love this. Okay, because most of the time people sit there and they're contemplating, and I'm like, you do realize that this is
This is
timed, like
supposed to be
67
fast. Yeah, yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Chris is telling me that we're on the clock. Lovely. Okay. Describe your HBCU experience in one word.
Amazing.
Amazing. If your time in college was a song, what song would it be?
Life is Beautiful by
Was
Larry
was it?
June. It's by Larry June, and
I love
yeah,
it. I love it.
yeah.
Ooh. What would you have wanted to tell your college roommate but didn't?
Ooh, bro, clean up.
There's that. On a
Shout out
scale
to
of
you,
1
bro.
through
I'm
10,
joking.
on a scale of 1 through 10, how good of a student were you?
8.
8. Okay, I like the honesty. Shout out your favorite professor, person, doesn't matter what they are at your HBCU, and what do they do?
Um, Gotta go Dr. Carr, professor, um, AFAM, just legend, honestly, very prolific. He's helped with a lot of events we ran as well. So, yeah,
Okay, what's his area?
he's a professor. Oh,
Professor
AFAM,
in
African American
FM. What
Studies.
is that? Sir, you do realize not everybody knows what FM is?
My bad, sorry.
Thank you. African students. Give me one word that you are going to guide your 2026 by. One word or
Prolific.
phrase. Prolific. And time is up. Okay, that was good. I got enough
Okay.
questions out. Why prolific? Let's start with the last one. Why prolific?
Um, I I believe that words are very powerful, and I know that I I mean, even just anybody watching this in general, we have so much power within ourselves, um, and it's important not to keep it to yourself. I've learned like I'm a thinker. Like I like to ponder on things, and there's a importance to communicating your ideas effectively. So I think prolific is, yeah, takes
Okay, okay.
intention, but yeah, I think it's,
I'll take that. I'll take
yeah.
that. Before I get to, because I kind of slightly disagree with you that HBCUs prepare future physicians well enough. But before I get there,
Okay.
yeah, we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss that. I'm looking forward to that
Me
conversation.
too.
But before I get there, you were born in Connecticut. You were
Yes.
raised in Maine. There
Yeah.
are several HBCUs before you get to Howard University. There's Morgan State, there's Bowie, there's University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
hmm
I can list a whole slew of them. Why Howard?
Um, Great question. I toured it when I was younger. My aunt went there, or my godmother. Um, and when I toured it, I was, for whatever reason, when I was applying to schools, I was very unserious about it. Like my high school years were a little interesting, but for Howard, when I toured that campus, it just felt right. Like all the other schools I toured, were like, oh, cool, like y'all have cool facilities, and dang, that's really expensive. And then, um, but with Howard, and it wasn't like it was a beautiful like spring day and it was like people on the yard. It was like cold, rainy, but it was something about the brick and knowing who would walk those steps, and there was just an energy there that I felt in my chest, and I was like, yeah, this is, I like this. And I probably toured it when I was 15 or 16. I was young. Um, but it stuck with me. And when I went to apply to schools, I was like, yeah, that needs to be the one. And I applied early action. I got in, and I stopped applying to schools. I was just like, all right, I'm going. That's it. So
I love that.
yeah.
What I love most about what you said is the word energy. I've heard a lot of people talk about how they picked their HBCU. Some talk about the energy, and then some just simply say it's the one that gave them the most money. A lot of people say it's the one that gave them the most
They
money,
did
and
give me
that's
they gave me a decent amount of money too.
they
But
gave you a
yeah,
decent amount of money as
yeah.
well. Okay, but that wasn't your first reason. Your first reason was the
No,
energy that you
definitely
felt
not. Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. I want them to study that. And I mean that because the amount of, so I'm lucky. I get to speak to all of you. So I
Hmm.
spoke to somebody from Tuskegee University last week, and then a
Nice.
few weeks ago, somebody from Florida A&M University, and the list goes on. The goal is to speak to people at every single HBCU eventually. Um, and oh, you don't want to hear somebody from North Carolina A&T talk about their school. Lord have mercy.
Where's it
It
at?
is it because they bleed North Carolina A&T.
Okay.
They bleed.
Yeah.
They bleed. No, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to have us do a count very soon, I actually think we have had the most guests, students as well as alum, from North Carolina A&T. I can stand to be wrong here, but if I'm not mistaken, they're the ones that come on the most. Like, listen, they want to brag on North Carolina A&T. Having said that, it's interesting how, and they don't like it when I say NCAT, so I'm not going to say that. But it's interesting how somebody who went to North Carolina A&T is not likely to be the same person that will go to Howard University, and vice versa. They're all HBCUs. They
Hmm.
are all pretty amazing, if you ask
Yeah.
me, because they make you feel like you are at home and they give you community and blah, 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 blah. But the energy attracts different type of people. And I wonder, I have no answer to everything I'm saying. I have absolutely no answer. I wonder what kind of energy does Maxwell have that attracts him to a Howard University
Huh.
as opposed to any other university? Can you take a stab at why a certain kind of person is attracted
Hmm.
to a certain kind of HBCU?
That is a very good question. Well, honestly, part of it I have to say it's environment, I think. Like I would imagine if I grew up in the South, I probably wouldn't have ended up at Howard. Maybe.
Interesting. Interesting.
Um, but I also think it resonated with me because I knew the history a bit.
Okay. Okay.
Like I'm sure if I knew the history of other schools, it probably would have done a similar thing, maybe. But
Maybe.
I not that I'm alone in it, but I'm sure not everybody that's going to colleges is picking it off of history. They might be picking it off of like more current, recent, like renovations or how much money they get, which is very, very reasonable. Um, but
The only other school the only other school's guests that I have spoken to that is purely based on history are Spelmanites. Almost every
yeah,
Spelman person that I've spoken to, when I ask them about their college selection journey, they go to the history. They're like, do you know the history of the people that
right.
started Spelman and then the history of those who have come from Spelman? And I'm like, I don't. And then they share the
And it's
history.
deep. And it's
It's
deep.
deep. It's very,
Yeah,
A, it's very deep. B, all of our universities, all the HBCUs
yeah.
have that. So I love that yours is aligned to history. Let's get to healthcare because I asked you a
Okay.
question earlier on, and I said, do HBCUs do a good job of preparing future physicians for not again, let's be clear because people love to cancel you in 0.5 seconds. So let's be
Yeah.
clear on what my question is. I did not ask, do HBCUs prepare future physicians well for the medical field? That was not my question. My
Okay.
question was, do HBCUs prepare future physicians well for the guaranteed racism
Hmm.
that they are going to that they're going to experience? Do you want to take a stab at the answer again?
Okay. Yeah. Um. All right.
Because initially you said yes, and you can still say yes, but why
My
yes?
answer is still yes, but
Okay.
I have a little more leniency on the answer now because a lot of what I think prepared me for some of it, and obviously I'm gonna see more. There's probably gonna be a situation that throws me off my horse or whatever, but I'm gonna get back on. Is my parents, the way I was raised. So at a HBCU, I think there's definitely lessons you would learn that would prepare you. Is it the most uh like effective at it? Yeah, I gotta give a lot of credit to my parents. I'm not gonna lie, but I think at HBCU they do teach you certain things about professionalism and like. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, he might be. Oh wait a dang minute. I'm at, like imagine there's a class about like restraint or something. Cause like I had a situation I talked about it on my Instagram. I mentioned it earlier. I know a lot of people that might have blown up in that situation and started a whole situation, which is honestly not that it's unwarranted, but if you're trying to go into a field, you do have to kind of like subdue emotions and sacrifice things at times. So, yeah.
So my quick answer is no. I don't think they do. I'm gonna watch this back and laugh when I watch this back because I love how you're like, oh, on
Oh,
second
wait a dang
thoughts.
minute. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. I am a lifelong HBCU college professor and administrator as well. And I'm not knocking us at all. I think we do a good job of preparing our students for whatever fields they go into. However, I do not think we do a good job of preparing our future physicians for the guaranteed racism that they're going to face. And I keep using the word guaranteed now. I'm borrowing that from you because it is guaranteed. You are a non-black person. You walk into a room, you see 19-year-old Maxwell McGadney as your no, but Maxwell, my brother, how old is Sam? I'm not going to put his age out there, but my brother is in his 30s or 40, no, late 30s, something like that. Anyway,
Mhm.
when Sam, that's my brother, became a specialist colorectal surgeon, the
Mhm.
amount, and he looks young because black doesn't crack. Thank you,
Right, of
Jesus. Just
course.
take care of
Yes. Thank the
yourself
Lord.
and yes, you know. So Sam looks
Stay
like he's in
hydrated.
his stay hydrated. Sam, on a good day, even with his bald head, Sam looks young. And the amount of times he's questioned in a dismissive way,
Yeah.
are you
You're
my
the
doctor?
doctor? Yeah.
And no offense. Sure, you can say it's ageist. You could say it's because he looks young. But the "are you really my doctor" part that comes afterwards isn't just age anymore. It isn't just the
Yeah.
way he looks. It's because he is a person of a certain skin and you're not a person of a certain skin. And it has actually gone as far as a patient questioning whether or not he's qualified to do the surgery.
Right.
And when I think about those overt racist intonations, I don't think HBCUs do a good job of preparing future physicians for that reality because you are in a cocoon. And I like the cocoon that HBCUs create for our students because it's the one time in your life that you're going to be around people that look like you in a majority sense. And I personally believe that it is one of the strongest factors that builds the confidence that we
Mhm.
have when we walk out into the world. But there's a flip side to that cocooning. And that flip side is you don't get to associate on a consistent basis with those who don't look like you in order to know what your response rate is going to be each and every time. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
I mean, I could agree with that. There's definitely almost like a culture shock post HBCU going back into, you know, the world. And there's not anything you're taught per se on how to go about that other than what you bring to the table, which,
And being professional, that's
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we could. I bring this up because I think we could do better. I bring this up because I do know that there's so many of our black doctors out there who, when they experience it, it takes a toll on them because it wasn't something, even though you theoretically know it could happen,
Yeah.
experiencing it is a totally different story. So
Yeah.
I say that to as an open call to our HBCUs that we could do better in preparing our soon to be physicians. I was going to ask you what you care about, Maxwell, but you've already told me it's healthcare. Um, and if it's not healthcare, you want to add something else to the list.
I
I'll
do.
take that. You do? Let's hear it.
I
Let's
do.
hear it.
Um, okay, so yes, it's healthcare, but it's just health in general.
Okay.
Um, there's countless people. There's loads of information that is technically out there for people to get, like the internet. You can see anything, but most people don't know the basis of what's being consumed, what it can do to you on a day to day level. Um, so there's health, and then there's also I make videos on YouTube. I make
Okay.
content. If I could cut off everything, it would just be YouTube. But I'm saying cut off in terms of like TikTok, Instagram. Well, but YouTube is like my little baby. But it's for a reason. So I'm trying my best to not put a harsh light or a negative light on the black community. I could have went to Howard University and made a lot of content that would have gone really viral. Just talk to a bunch of girls and go to a bunch of parties and da da da. It would have done well. It would have done really well. But I chose to take a different route in the sense of enjoying the little things, trying to promote like emotional growth and development, and taking care of yourself, and spending time with your friends, like the things that matter. Like I really want to show that with hard work and a good head on your shoulders, that you can accomplish a lot, and you can do it while living a happy and healthy life. And it's not something that's commonly pushed in the black community, in the sense of, obviously it's like what people intrinsically want to do, but it's not the thing that's promoted in the community as often. um like even for example, like music, we can talk about that forever, but there's messaging subconsciously. People are listening to things that are changing the way you think, whether it's social media, whether it's music, whether it's um I don't know, parties, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
um but I think it's important to be an independent thinker. um and I take a lot of pride in, not even pride, but I identify with being more of a thinking as a spirit rather than a, like, there's so much programming that's being done in day-to-day life that people don't understand subconsciously. So realistically, the goal of my channel is to try and like show that there's a different, you
What's
can
your
make a
channel's name?
decision. Max McGadney.
Max
Channel.
McGadney.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you and so many things are coming to mind. I'm thinking about your generation. I'm
Yeah,
thinking about the instant gratification that comes from your
exactly.
generation.
Yes, yes.
I'm thinking, I don't know his name. I wish I was good at remembering artists, i.e. musicians' names, but there was a musician that was interviewed on a podcast not too long ago. I think it's Z-Way's podcast. That's why I got those words intertwined together. And he blatantly says that the music he makes sucks. He and here's what he means when he says that. He says, the music I make is not uplifting to my community. The music I make
Right.
does not, the music I make almost intentionally, Vince Staples. Chris is the
Okay.
goat. Chris is my producer. Anyone who gets to meet her, she's absolutely amazing. She's the goat. She's like, it's Vince Staples. I believe it is Vince Staples. Thank
Okay.
you so much,
Yeah.
Chris.
I can
And I'm
see him
not
saying this too. He's
quoting,
very, yeah,
yeah, I'm not quoting Vince when I say this. I'm simply, paraphrasing when he says, I'm fully aware that the music I make is not uplifting to my community, but I make it anyway. And I don't want to get on Vince Staples. I want us to have a conversation about your generation. And it's not fair for me to just say your generation. It's anybody, but it's been hyper studied, hyper focused with your generation.
yeah,
And that is the need to get the bag today, the need
yes,
to be popular on YouTube today,
today,
the need to, and you said something that took me down this line of conversation. You said I could have gone to Howard. I could be doing content on the girls that I meet and like a whole bunch of things that could get me viral.
yeah,
But you've chosen not to.
hmm,
And this isn't about, at least let me speak for myself. I think I speak for Maxwell as well when I say this isn't about us judging anyone who does.
right, not at all.
But here's the reality, Maxwell. We live in a world where resources drive everything, and the biggest resource is money. And the reason why a good number of those people do these things to become viral is because they need money or they
Yeah,
want money. How do we change the consumerism
mm,
behind an audience tuning into Max McGadney's channel, knowing fully well it's not the salacious things that garner the virality and the money? How do, because it's eventually us. There's the programming, but there's also the consuming.
yeah,
What do you have a suggestion of what the solution could be for that?
I do. It takes a
He
lot of
said he
work.
does. I love it.
It
Let's
takes a
hear it.
lot of work. It takes a lot of you have to get to know yourself essentially. Um, there's a lot of ways to go about that. I journal sometimes.
Okay.
I've been a little less
Okay.
consistent recently, but I've been journaling since I was consistently probably for like 5 6 years. But that's one thing. I would say another one is like, well, actually with journaling. Let me actually go deeper into this. What do you enjoy? What brings you joy? Like write it down. Because for me, the things I like that bring me joy are really simple. They don't have anything to do with partying. Usually, it's like exercising, hanging out with my friends, learning. Like these are, but the more you lean away from those things, usually the more miserable you feel. Usually, like social media on the day to day, you're just swiping, consuming, and I do it too. I'm not saying I'm perfect, um, but there's there's something to be said about knowing yourself enough to be able to choose and decide what you feed your attention to. That's really what it comes down to. Like
Do
being
you think
intentional
that's
about what you
possible
consume.
though? Do
Absolutely.
do
100%.
Here's what I mean when I say do you think it's possible? Individuals, it is. Maxwell's going to be that way. That's how I am. I only consume what I choose to consume.
Mhm.
But consumerism is a big business.
It's massive.
And the
Yeah.
reality is, if there was a Maxwell McGadney who was only showing the salacious things on Howard University's campus right now, you'd be like one of the top, what's it called, YouTube content creators. The Maxwell
Yeah.
McGadney that is instead focusing on health matters, focusing on healthcare, living a well-balanced life, may not necessarily get that. So I'm asking us to take it away from the individual, take it away from you,
Okay.
take it away
Okay.
from
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Do you think it's possible for us to make that shift where all of us
Hmm.
know that dead scrolling is bad for us? All of us know that,
Yeah.
but we still do it.
Yeah. Do I think it's possible? It's hard for me to take myself out of it because I'm very oddly optimistic about things. Um, if I was to if I was to lean into pessimism, I would say I think it's possible for more people to fall into it. Do I think it'll ever be everyone? No, absolutely not.
No. Okay. Okay. So I'm with you on that. I'm an optimistic person and I do not lean into the pessimism. I see that it's not happening, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but I do agree with you that if more people just really realized it's an external programming that's going on that has very little to do with our own individual choices.
Hmm.
And then we made the choices instead, we might see a shift. But I do agree with you that I don't think the numbers will be high. I really don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm hopeful. Maxwell, you are a young black man in the United States of America. You are going into the world of healthcare. It's an important field to go into. Um, This is an unfair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Um, how much attention do you think our country, the United States of America, should be giving to minority health issues? We hear the reports all the time that they don't give as much. I'm a 40-something-year-old black woman, for example, and the studies that have been done on my healthcare are less than the studies that have been done on a white woman's healthcare.
Yeah.
And because of that, the way I react to different medications is going to be very, very different, because when they were doing the pilot studies and the experimental studies, chances are my constitution was not included in there.
Yeah.
How do we change that in these United States of America? Is that something
Phew.
that you think about, that you're concerned about?
It's definitely something I consider, um, mostly in the sense of nutrition when I think about it.
Okay.
Um, what was the
Ooh.
initial question?
Do you think the United States of America does us due justice? And by us, I just do mean
Absolutely not.
minorities. It
No.
doesn't just have to be black people, minorities, in studying proper healthcare for them.
So, short answer, no. They don't
No.
do enough. But I also think it's not even just minorities. It's literally everyone in America. We're all being affected by what's being produced and given, and the food is not what it was before. There's pesticides on everything. Organic doesn't even. There's so many loopholes for that. What you think is organic is probably still, you know, processed food everywhere on every corner. It's normalized. Like I know people that eat donuts for breakfast. That's wild. Um, so I think a lot of it comes down to education. If I was to like think about how to pivot, for
Mm,
one, I don't think they're ever going to save us. That's not going to happen.
I
It
love
starts with
that.
education. So it's like honestly, um, in a crazy future, I would love to be a whole like an actual organic farmer, like a crazy huge one, and like out to give it into communities that actually would benefit from it. Um, because what you eat affects how you think. How you think affects how you act. How you act affects the world around us. And it's like by them controlling what the food can do, they're low key controlling you.
Oh, I don't know. So listen, keep talking. My brain. So the minute you said they low key control you, I'm thinking of the cancers. I'm thinking of
Exactly. Cancer,
everything.
Alzheimer's, all these things obviously you're never going to get rid of all of them, but a lot of it is so preventable. Exercise plays a part in
I
that too, obviously. Stress
absolutely.
management. I mean, and all the things that we're dealing with, like the constant stimulation of social media, or the typical work environment, the cost of living, how people are struggling. I mean, the cost of living versus what minimum wage is insane.
Yeah.
Um, that causes a lot of stress. A lot of stress causes a lot of stress on the body. And it's just yeah.
I was not raised in the United States of America. I've spent most of my adult years in the US, but I was not raised in the US. Coming to the United States of America and seeing what the advertisements are, the commercials are in the US, One day, myself and my mom sat down and we counted how many of them are drug companies.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, and I know anyone that was not raised in the US is agreeing with me right now. It's not that common to see commercials for any kind of drugs on television, let alone this whole weight loss stuff that people have gotten
Yeah.
themselves into, not gotten themselves into, but the
No,
whole Wegovy and GLPs and all of that stuff. I mean, was it yesterday? Every other commercial,
dang.
I'm not exaggerating, was some form of GLP, was some form of
Yeah.
Wegovy. I don't know
And
the other names, so I'm not trying to like just mention
yeah, no, no,
Wegovy
no.
all the time. I don't know the other names, but it was one version of a weight loss drug over
Yeah.
another. Mind you, we all know that it did not start off as a weight loss drug. Yesterday, every other commercial was that. So when you say that there's a programming that leads to our healthcare. I love when you said they're never going to save us. I wrote that down, by the way. So when you say that there is
Yeah,
a
you gotta save
programming
ourselves.
that we've got to save ourselves,
Yeah.
and education is going to be our savior by the end of the day. And I wish more and more of us will take ownership of it, because the reality is if we're also waiting for them to educate us on it, they're only going to tell us what they think we should hear
Exactly.
or what they
Yeah.
want us to hear, and
Uh,
not how are you going to change that, Maxwell? You're this 19-year, I keep calling you 19-year-old because guys,
no.
when you see him, he looks like he's 19.
I'm not
So
19,
when
I
this 19,
promise.
and I think you're going to look like you're 19 for like the next 10 to 15 years. So this young, soon to be physician, what role do you want to play, or what role do you see yourself playing in all of this?
I mean, first things first is I think just being a student of, medicine, but also a student of life. I think that's very important for what I'm trying to do. But secondly, um, part of the reason I feel so passionate about my YouTube channel is because of being able to reach more people than I could with like just my physical
Traditional,
being.
yeah, yeah.
So I see myself being almost a mentor to people in a way, if I can. Um, just for whoever's open to it. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna try and invite people in with like maybe a joke here and there and like some cool edits and stuff. And you know, we have swag still. I'm gonna be a swaggy doctor. I'm gonna have like I don't know. But the thing is intrinsically those things don't matter to me as much as the actual like the gold nuggets of information. So I hope to continuously on my journey just share what I learn um, and learn along the way because I know I don't know a lot. You know what I mean? Like there's only so much.
So
Um,
Maxwell, what I love about talking to the Maxwell McGadneys of the world who are HBCU made is the versatility that comes from you. If you were to forecast 5 years from now, where is Maxwell McGadney 5 years from now?
well, I would be in medical school. Couldn't tell you
Do you
where.
know where? Oh, I was about to say, do you know where?
Couldn't
He's
tell you
like,
where.
couldn't tell you where. Okay.
Couldn't tell you where.
Ooh, do you have an energy feel for anywhere yet?
Not. I actually don't.
No.
I actually
Okay.
don't.
Okay.
I've I've
Okay.
I've been to a couple places that I've really enjoyed. I've made some good connections at certain schools through like internships and stuff. But like in terms of the energy feel like I felt at Howard, I would go back to Howard. Just put that. I'll do it. Um, but not necessarily one that's like,
Not
oh, this is
yet.
the one.
Okay. 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 So
Because I
five years
also
from
need I
now,
also need money, so I'm not gonna lie.
you
Like
need,
that's gonna
listen, it's
talk. Yeah,
expensive.
yeah,
Medical school is
yeah, yeah,
expensive.
yeah.
So 5 years from now, you'll be in medical school. You don't know where, but go ahead.
I'd be in medical school. Don't know where. I would be healthier than I am now. I had ACL surgery 2 years ago, and after I graduated from it was a crazy recovery time because I was in school while I was recovering, and it just didn't go as well as it needed to. So once I graduated, I spent a lot of time like just working on my well-being. I gained like 25 pounds since last year because I just withered away after the surgery. I was just like, um, but I hope to continue on that journey as well of just bettering my overall health in my temple. Um, and I hope to continue to grow my relationships with my loved ones, my friends, um, and hopefully be able to inspire a few more people with the social media stuff.
I love it. I love it. I think you're also going to inspire quite a few people to consider Howard University, who may not necessarily be considering it right now. I believe that with all of my heart. Maxwell, is there anything that you're like, okay, she's going to bring this up, that I haven't brought up
Okay.
that you'd love to bless the audience with before we leave?
Huh. Hmm. Um, I mean, it's not necessarily a question, but if I just had like a closing remark, it would be as selfish as it sounds, like take care of yourself, prioritize yourself. Um, there's a lot of noise, regardless of where you are. I'm literally in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, and I could learn about something happening in Hawaii or New Jersey or Nigeria, South Korea, whatever. There's so much information out there that this is a time where humans have not been exposed to this much stimulation ever in history. So whatever you needed to do to take care of yourself, to learn more about yourself, do it. I don't recommend doing it with substances and stuff. That's not the way to do it. But yeah, that would be my, my last little
I'm
gift.
laughing. I'm laughing because he said, I don't recommend doing it with substances and stuff.
Yeah, because that's what
Um,
some people default to that, which is like
some people
all
do.
right,
Some
but
people do. Some
yeah,
people do. Some people do, but then I would agree with you that if you are trying to choose a healthy pathway, that may not end up being a healthy
yeah.
pathway by the end of the day. Um, ooh, in one, leave our audience with a parting word or short phrase on why you love HBCUs. I know you said your time at Howard University was amazing, but leave
Hmm.
our audience with one word or short phrase on why you, Maxwell McGadney, loves HBCUs.
Diversity.
Diversity. Diversity. I love it. Maxwell, thank you so much for being my guest. Thank you for this
Thank you for having me.
conversation. I am going to write on here, and I'm absolutely going to pull it out when the episode comes out. They're never going to save us. Um, and people have said it in so many different ways, but I love the way you put it. They were never going to save us. So
Yeah,
stop looking for whoever they are, and I interpret they as outside. I don't necessarily have a group of people just outside. So the government could be they. Your school could be they.
yeah,
They are not going to save you. You've got to learn you in order to save you. So that's one of my big takeaways from here. I think it is impossible for anyone not to have watched this episode, not to have heard the episode, and say, I'm going to go ahead and like this episode, not because of me, but because of Maxwell McGadney, and go
oh,
ahead and
stop
subscribe to,
it.
no, it's definitely
Stop
you.
it.
It's the baby face 19-year-old
Okay, stop
soon to be physician.
it. That's me.
Come on, I had to, sneak one more of those in before we ended. There we
For
go.
sure.
But guys, yours and HBCU love. See you next episode. Maxwell, thank you so much.